Hello, and welcome to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to find podcasts. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
10D Tech. 10D Tech delivers fast, friendly, and fully managed IT services for Oregon businesses. No downtime, no tech headaches, just reliable support you can count on. 10dtech.com and call 541-250-3672. Join Boson Hub in supporting Kickin' Cancer, empowering individuals and their families to thrive in their cancer journey. Together, we're building a stronger, more connected community. Kicking-cancer.org. Buddy Puckett at Guild Mortgage. Select from hundreds of loan products tailored to your needs. Find the loan to fit your life at guildmortgage.com and call Buddy Puckett at 503-851-8031. Independent Merchant Brokers. Innovative solutions for your payment processing needs. 877-460-4747 and on the web, independentmerchantbrokers.com. Discover Oregon Real Estate. Statewide experts in luxury home sales, farm, ranch, commercial, business sales, and land developments. Call 541-250-1065 and visit them online at dore.llc.
And now, your hosts for The Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
Ta-da! Here we go. Welcome everybody to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Here we are live, and I am here in Salem, Oregon today, and Scott is there on his way back to Texas. How you doing, Scott?
You know, we had a great time in Orlando, Florida at PodFest 2026. It was great to see you, Russ. And the first time we've met on that side of the continent.
Oh my goodness. It was so amazing. So amazing. And just really what a blessing that we had. You know, so many great connections, so much great information, so many people trying to make a positive impact in life, Scott. And I met a ton of Christ followers there, people that really were impacting things for God. Just amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the interesting things about PodFest is that they're really there to help incubate other organizations. And so the Christian creators were there kind of with a sub-conference, a conference within a conference. But this is something that Chris Kremitzos, who founded PodFest, and Nick, their CEO, this is something that they do as an organization. They want to incubate. And in fact, coming up in April is Military Creator Con, and my show, The Waco Experience, will be sponsoring that, and that'll be that's one of the conferences that was incubated at PodFest.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, you know, it was just so much great stuff, and so had such an amazing time. And you know, I know that for those people listening on one of the audio podcast formats or on radio, you're going to hear a little bit of music, and you're going to want to try to find the video, because I'm going to play a very short video from PodFest. And so this should excite you. If you can't see it, then get to one of the video platforms on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, or just wherever you can find it, and take a listen and take a look. But I'm going to show this real quick. Scott, are you ready?
Let's go.
It was just such an awesome time. And on that video, for those people that like to listen to our shows on Wednesday, our guest, Neil Schaefer, was actually there. We're going to be with him live this Wednesday on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So just a plug for that. But just an amazing group of people and just such a great time, Scott. Just loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll do a recap, and I look forward to talking with Neil on Wednesday. But we've got a great guest today on the Experience Local. So let's get going.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. Just a reminder, everybody, we are here on every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your listening and viewing pleasure. This transfers over, sits on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook forever to watch. And also you can listen on podcast platforms, any of the major Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, whatever. You can do that as well. So just want to remind you of that. And for some more information on Scott and I, if you want to get in touch with us or find out more information about the shows, you can go to local.theexperience.video, local.theexperience.video for more information today, and subscribe on our YouTube platform at theexperience.video. And with that, Andrea Beem is here with us today. Good morning, Andrea. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, really good to see you, Andrea.
Good to see you too, Scott. I have not seen you in forever.
Welcome to 2026, if you can believe that.
I know.
It's amazing how quick it goes. The time just flies by. Well, Andrea, we're going to just start with the basics.
Yeah.
Who in the world is Andrea Beem? What are you up to? Give us a little insight on you.
Boy, that's a very open-ended question.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I have, I'm a mom of two amazing boys. I'm about to be a grandmother for the first time.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm going to have a granddaughter. So I'm really stoked for that. And owned a real estate company for about 17 years now. And also just recently launched a second company called Kingdom Warrior Co. So that's kind of been my life lately.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this new venture that you've been on. You've been on a lot of stages.
I speak. I definitely love to speak on topics that I am passionate about. So whether that is speaking at real estate conferences or speaking at faith-based conferences, I love it. Yeah, I'm probably one of those weird people that actually enjoys public speaking.
Yeah. Well, I am definitely with you there for sure, because I love to speak to people, get fired up. But let's talk a little bit more about Kingdom Co.
Yeah. So Kingdom Warrior Co. I launched, we did a soft launch last year towards the end of the year. And Kingdom Warrior Co. is a company that embodies kind of a whole ecosystem. So it's our podcast, Kingdom Warrior, and it houses my book that publishes in March called Dense in Your Armor. I do coaching. So we have one-to-one coaching as well as group coaching. We have events that we're putting on. We're actually doing a powerlifting meet later this year in the summer with a local gym. And we have our Christians in Business event that we're putting on in March. And we have merch. So we have Kingdom Warrior shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that. So yeah, but in essence, the company exists to help men and women lead disciplined, faith-based lives to really enhance their businesses, be able to get past personal ceilings, get past maybe stunted business growth, and help them do that in a faith-based way. I think there's not a ton of coaches out there that coach that way. And so, yeah, it's a whole movement. We're taking over, guys.
And how did you decide to add this into the real estate business? I mean, it's not part of the real estate business, but you kept the real estate business and you started this.
Yeah.
What was your journey to that?
It was actually multifaceted. So my daughter-in-law was actually the one that came up with the name. And we were already working towards building this out. And she was the one that came up with the name, and it just instantly stuck. And, last year in April, my dad took his own life, unfortunately. And it was a very large pivotal moment for me in life. There's definitely a lot of journey and a lot of healing that had to occur around that. But it was something that actually made me lean even that much heavier into Kingdom Warrior, because part of that healing process was, really, it was devastating when that happened. But part of the healing process was just me learning that, with God, I'm so much stronger with him. And it just caused me to lean into the launch of that business 10 times harder. It was such a blow in my life at that time that I think God really put that in my life. I mean, he orchestrates everything, right? And he uses everything for good. And yeah, I wish my dad could see that he inspired that in a large way.
Yeah, well, that is, man, what a pivotal time in life. But like you said, it gives you that need and be able to lean into God and be able to really rely on him. And your faith is not only so important to you, but it is such a platform for you. I mean, in a good way. We're all supposed to shine the light of Jesus out there, and you are shining every day, Andrea. I see your posts online. I see the things you're doing. I've been to your Christian business conference you put on. So many great things you're doing. And it's that inner strength. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're going through, good stuff, bad stuff, whatever, the inner strength that God gives us. And I'm sure that's a lot about what Kingdom Warrior is about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not me. I can tell you that right now. with the amount of stuff that has happened in the last few years, it's definitely not my own strength at all. Even in our real estate business, that's the faith. My faith has always been, well, I shouldn't say that. A few years ago when I rededicated my life to God, because I believed, but I wasn't living. I wasn't living as a follower of Jesus. And when I recommitted my life to God, we redid our whole real estate business. And we started out with the core belief that God is at the core. And so God is at the core has been the main foundation of my real estate company. So it was only natural, going into the Kingdom Warrior side to really, really go deeper into that. And as far as just the inner strength that you're talking about, I think a lot of that also has probably come over the last year, really getting disciplined in a lot of things, being disciplined in my faith, in reading scripture, being disciplined in getting a trainer, going to the gym, being very dedicated and very disciplined in the things that I commit to doing. And so it's been interesting because the more disciplined I've become, I'm trying to put this into words, but it's almost like, the Holy Spirit is just working through you during all of that process. And he's showing you, these paths or the steps in front of you, just one at a time, little bits and pieces, but you just kind of have to trust the process. And that's a lot of what discipline is, right? Like you have to trust the process works because it doesn't just happen overnight.
So here on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott, we've got Andrea Beem and the Beem team, real estate, and now the Kingdom Warrior Co. And congratulations on the soft launch. And we just look forward to seeing how this is going to grow over this coming year. And I do want to say my heart is with you in this loss with your father.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're talking about discipline. And I think about following God with our heart, mind, soul, strength, right? This is what I feel that you're really bringing people toward. Not just go to church on Sunday, not just I read my Bible or go to a Bible study, but looking at the whole person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a transformation. It's not just, like with our Kingdom Warrior coaching, it's not just coaching towards a goal or coaching towards a tangible or even measurable number. It's transformation of the person, because I could stay any goal. I could state anything that I'm working towards, but if I as a person am not showing up as the person that I would need to be in order to hit those things, then there's different work that needs to be done. I could coach towards a goal all day long, but if the person hasn't caught up, if the soul and the mind haven't caught up to that, it's kind of a moot point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, when you are physically down, it's hard to be your full self, right? It's just simple. You get a cold, right? And you've got an important meeting coming up. You just know you're not going to represent yourself as well. And there's a lot of things about our physical side. There's a lot of things about our emotional side that are less visible, but will keep us down and keep us from being who we were intended to be.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you, Andrea, that there's certain things that I can relate to some of what you're going through with your dad, losing both my parents to cancer and Alzheimer's, and then going through my cancer journey. The part that really sticks with me, what you're talking about, is just really rededicating yourself to all that God wants in your life and all that he's there for you in spite of what's happening. And as I always say, shameless plug, life happens and then you choose every day. And it's because it's true. I mean, it is happening. It's sometimes really amazingly good and sometimes really horribly bad.
Yeah.
And what we do with that is what makes all the difference. What we do with that is what defines us, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't necessarily, somebody said this the other day, and I thought this was interesting. They said, you don't necessarily control the first thought that pops into your head, but you do control the second. And I feel like that's kind of in line with what you're talking about, Russ, because, you may have an experience or something happens around you, to you, for you, however you want to phrase that, right? Things good and bad are happening in life, but your response to it, right? Your initial response may be less than favorable, right? Like you may cringe back, you may be afraid, you may, have judgment around it, whatever, but your second thought you control, right? Like, and I think that's so much of what you're talking about, Russ, is that you have this ability to take control of those thoughts and now drive them in the right direction. Right. And I think and that's easier said than done sometimes, right? I think humans struggle with that.
Go ahead, Russ.
I was going to say, it really is. And sometimes, I read a great book by Craig Rochelle, and sometimes because of what's happening in life, we could be proactive. So we can try to beat that first thought to the punch and actually start thinking and talking to ourselves immediately. Yeah. And, I have a habit every morning that I start talking to myself, being grateful and praising God and just, realizing I've got things under control. And today's going to be a great day. I'm telling myself all of this, not waiting for all those thoughts to come flooding in my mind. Like, oh my goodness, I got to get this done. I still have to record this before Andrea comes on. Oh, wow, I got these things going on. I don't wait for those thoughts. Instead, I try to beat it to the punch and be proactive. And again, that doesn't always happen. Easier said than done, but we can always try to be proactive in what we're doing too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not to, it's kind of like, telling someone to have savings, right? We need to have financial savings so that when things pop up that are unexpected, we have that stash, right? And I think mentally we're no different. The ability to build resilience, to build up God's truth in our mind so that when those unexpected things come at us, we have the ammo to fight back, right? And it's it's no different than just having a financial savings for a rainy day fund. I think that a lot of times we don't expect bad things to happen, and which I'm not sure why we expect that, but we don't expect it. And so a lot of times when those things happen, we're so caught off guard And not that I'm saying you should run around and just expect bad things to happen. That's not what I'm saying. But this is life, right? And life is not easy. And if we spend the time, like you said, Russ, being proactive in getting in the word, in building resilience in our mindset, in building resilience in our health, or just creating the ability to handle those things better when they do occur. We can't always know, right, when things are going to happen, but we can certainly do a much better job of being proactive.
Of course, Russ and I just got back from PodFest, and we're all amped up, and
yes,
I'm inspired. I go, man, I tell you, the Second Thought podcast would be wonderful, right? The thing that we can control. I want you to talk about the future. You mentioned that you've got a powerlifting event coming up. You've got your podcast that's going. Tell us how people get involved.
Yeah. I'm so glad you asked that. So we will probably start advertising the powerlifting event by the end of this week. It's going to be at Fitness Experience here in Albany, Oregon. And we'll have vendors there. We're going to have obviously competitors there. And so it'll be Fitness Experience and Kingdom Warrior Co. Kind of joining forces to put this on. And let's see, you asked about... Well, so the podcast is called Kingdom Warrior. You can download the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then, of course, our Christians in Business event, which is just right around the corner here in March. That you can find the link for it if you go to kingdomwarrior.co and go to events. The tickets are for sale on there. We have VIP tickets. We have general admission tickets, and so many speakers lined up, you guys. I can't even name them all off. There's going to be an amazing group of speakers coming to talk. And the whole premise behind the event is going on the offense. Not just staying in defensive mode all the time, but actually going on the offense and taking back ground from what Satan has stole from us, and being proactive around that. So yeah, those are the best ways to get involved right now. And then of course, merchandise. We have some merchandise on the website, Kingdom Warrior merchandise, and we have another line that's going to be launching here in just a few weeks with new designs.
That's amazing. I love what you're doing. And, you talked about earlier going on the offense, and I talked about being proactive, and a lot of it has to do with, how we start our day and starting in God's word and really being proactive with our relationship with God. Because, when I talk about connecting and community building all the time, number one, we have to connect with ourselves, as far as what we're doing with. But the really biggest part of that connecting is connecting with God, ourselves with God, right? And so if we're not right with God and not right with ourselves, things aren't going to come together. And that's really, what you're all about. And I just think that is amazing. We still have a few more minutes here, but I wanted to just have you once again remind everybody about the events coming up, which we're going to have on. And then, the business community coming together for God. That's such an important thing, because I love being getting out there and being able to bless others throughout the business day. You don't have to wait till Sunday, right? Right. And so it's amazing we can come together. Talk a little bit about that.
So I have something actually written on my whiteboard here that says your business is the territory that God has entrusted to you. And I have that written on my wall, obviously for my real estate company, but also for Kingdom Warrior, because that is... Right. We don't have to be overseas on a missions trip in order to share God's love. Right. We don't have to be down in the streets of LA or, I think sometimes we conjure up in our mind that God can't use us because we're not, maybe not out on like a traditional missionary trip or something. And so a lot of what people don't realize is they have opportunity right there in their business. And I think sometimes there's fear around that. In our day and age, there's fear around sharing within the workplace. There's fear around, judgment around that. And so a large part of the Christians in Business Conference is going to be talking about that. It's going to be talking about fear, but it's also going to be giving the tools to be able to take ground and be able to overcome that fear and be able to live your faith out loud and not be afraid to share about it.
Right.
It's going to be a huge part of that.
I love that. I love that. Well, I clearly am just fired up about all that you're doing. And so the way I want to end today is if you could give us your gold nugget or the thing you really want people to remember from today's conversation, and then remind everybody of your contact information and where to find all the information about the conference and Kingdom Warrior Co. as well.
I think my closing my closing thought isn't really a quote, but it's definitely a t-shirt that we're going to have, but it says, Jesus saves, bro. And, I love it because it usually gets a chuckle out of people, but it also oftentimes creates conversations and in random places and it's truth, right? So that's my closing nugget.
All right. And tell everybody all your contact information and where to get the Kingdom Warrior Co. information.
Yeah. So the website is kingdomwarrior.co, which is just .co, not .com. If you have any issues with the website, just reach out to me directly at my email, andrea@andreabeem.com.
Awesome. Awesome. And we, of course, have all of that information scrolling along the bottom. At the bottom of the page, everybody, it's clickable. So you can click and go straight to Andrea to get more information. And Andrea, thanks so much again. You're such a blessing. Appreciate you being on today, and just have an amazing, amazing week.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Scott. I really am honored to be on here. Thanks.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Well, Scott, I'm telling you, amazing. Another amazing show, another amazing person. Wow.
Just great inspiration. I love that her daughter named the company.
Yeah, me too. That is amazing.
That's great. It's so important to look at your whole self, right? We talk about the different aspects, and we talk about integration, and you need to integrate your spiritual and your physical and your emotional and your relational. We need to be constantly working on that. And Andrea had this great advice to put something in the bank, so when those moments come, you have something to draw from.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I completely agree with that. And it's people like Andrea that give me hope and just really bless me. Moving forward, that we can really make an impact for the kingdom, make an impact for people. And I'm just so thankful for that and for her. And Scott, with that, we're going to get things wrapped up for today. And any last comments before we go today?
I just tell people, go to the local.theexperience.video and learn all about us and the various shows that we have going on.
Yes, local.theexperience.video. And also you go to theexperience.video straight to our YouTube page. Please subscribe. And just such a blessing you all are, this audience. Please tune in every Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, live for the Experience Local with Russ and Scott on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And then it converts to audio podcasts on all platforms and, of course, radio on KWIL and KYKN. Thanks so much to them. And with that, we're going to call it good for another week. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you. Have a blessed and awesome week. And until next time, enjoy life and enjoy
your local experience.
There you go. See ya. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.